what you think. Talk about the issues of the world. What kind of spice you wanna be? Tell me where you wanna travel. Do you believe in luxury? What's your hidden passion? What makes you so unique? Conversations with Nicole. Conversations with Nicole. Conversations with Nicole. Conversations with Nicole.
Good evening. Happy Wednesday. I am Nicole Everett, the host of Conversations with Nicole, a talk show based here in Tallahassee, Florida, focused on connecting the community through conversations. It is Wednesday, August 19th, 2020, and it's what I call What Women Want Wednesday. What Women Want Wednesday. This is an interactive live, an opportunity for me to talk with you, my viewers, about various sundry things. So tonight I have no guest. This is going to be a AMA, Ask Me Anything, but I'll talk about some of the things that are on my mind too. So if you will, before we get started in terms of, jumping in and talking about the whatever, put in the comments the city and the state that you are watching from, the city and the state that you are watching from. Again, it's interactive, so I feed off of y'all's comments and y'all's energy. So let me know who's watching tonight. Who's watching tonight? So as you're doing that, today, Wednesday, is the day after the primary election here in Tallahassee. Some of the folks that I voted for won, some of them lost. So it's been kind of a mixed bag for me today. But, folks didn't come out here in Tallahassee like they should have. So I'm a little disappointed about that. But, it is what it is. I hope folks come out in November for the general election. So let me pause and give shouts out to the folks that I can see. Hey, Mo Better Thomas, Monique, right here in Tallahassee. Thanks for watching. Hey there, Felicia, my sister. Thanks for tuning in. Also, Latanya, my sister in Georgia. Thank you for tuning in. And yes, Mo, shameful. Shameful. We had less than 40% turnout in Tallahassee. Ought to be ashamed. I really thought that the turnout was going to be much greater, especially with the former felons now having the right to vote. So pretty disappointed about that. But again, hopefully folks will come out in November. That typically is the case, that people take the numbers are greater in the general election than they are in the primary election. So what are you all thinking about, I guess, the primary election? We're right in the midst of the Democratic National Convention. It's all virtual. I've caught snippets of it for the past 2 nights, but not a whole lot of it. How are y'all feeling about, the convention? Next week will be the Republican National Convention. What are y'all thinking about what you're seeing? Are you kind of pleased with what you see, or not so much? All right. Monique said the locals are more important. Yeah, I think the locals are important too. And probably are more important from the standpoint of us really seeing the effects of it, where we live, work, and play. National tends to take a little bit more of a trickle down, and then the enforcement of it sometimes is not always on point. So locals are, in my opinion, are more important to some extent. So yeah, again, hope folks really do come out in November, and we need to, I don't know, we just need to have a different mindset about it. Have had several conversations about the elections today with various sundry folks, and one person that I talked to said that they thought that we got to come up with something better as it relates to elections. They think that, people don't feel like elections work. Like, it's rigged or nothing's going to change, or just the process, the system is kind of shady, scanty. I don't know. So, and I understand what some of those concerns are. I mean, I again had some conversations with folks today about these mail-in ballots, and some of the ballots not being counted, um, and maybe there needs to be a separate review committee that monitors some of all of that stuff. A citizens review committee for the supervisor of elections office. I don't know, but anyway, I just yeah, we gotta do something. We gotta do more than what we're doing, I believe, as it relates to this process. All right, Monique said the DNC is not bad, a new approach. I kind of like it. Okay. Well, it's definitely not as long because I think they're only doing like an hour a night. I was actually watching PBS earlier, and they had like a whole biopic, if you will, on Joe Biden. I mean, going back to his childhood, to when he met his wife and they got married, and his whole political career. So that was kind of cool to watch. So I think for those news outlets or stations, networks rather, that are utilizing this also as a way to tell some of the stories about the Democratic candidates. Uh, I think that's pretty cool as well. So, all right. So yeah, definitely a new approach, and definitely again, not as long as they normally are with all of the entertainment and different speeches. I mean, they are still having the different speeches, but definitely not as many as we probably are used to. So, yesterday I heard folks talking about women's suffrage, and I guess yesterday may have been the actual day when it was ratified. So, I think that's pretty significant. 100 years, celebrating 100 years of women's right to vote. Now, we know that for women of color, that did not apply back 100 years ago, but just the women's right to vote, is pretty significant. So just definitely wanted to kind of mention that, women's suffrage celebrating 100 years yesterday. All right, I see Mr. Gerald Tooks on here, my partner. Said a new way of presenting content. So talking about the DNC, absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. So since I see Gerald on here, that just actually jogged my thoughts about our new business venture, Greater Works Network. For those of you who weren't on the live on Monday, Gerald was my co-host, and we presented to some. Um, and just reiterated to others, Greater Works Network, which is our new network that's on Roku TV. You can access it on Roku if you have a Roku TV or a Roku stick or Roku player. Look up Greater Workspace Network on there, and you'll see seasons 7 and 8 of Conversations with Nicole. So we invite folks to definitely select us as a channel, as an option on Roku. Look at, he put it up there for me. Look at you. Look at you. So yes, select Roku. I mean, select Greater Works on Roku and start watching us. Check us out. For those of you who may have not seen those episodes of Conversations with Nicole, by all means, please do. And then, along with our launch, we are launching a contest for folks to submit their greater work. So Gerald has so graciously put the website up for me. But you can do a 60-second video pitching your idea for a show, a film, a documentary, whatever you feel like is a great idea for a story to be told. Your story matters. That's our tagline for GWN. So We invite you to submit your greater works via our website, which is greaterworks.network. And again, the link is right there for you to take advantage of. So yeah, so we will be announcing winners in about a month or so. So please, 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 we invite you to share what your ideas. We know there are a lot of great ideas out there and a lot of stories to be told, which is part of the reason why we even started this network to begin with. So this is exciting, exciting time, and we've been putting in a lot of work to help make this happen. So Roku, by the way, has 40 million viewers. That's 40, some more zeros and some more zeros. 40 million viewers. So um, the potential is great. The potential is great, but we're trying to get our our views up and folks connected to us. So please, we ask that you check us out, check us out, check us out. So I know back to school is going on right now as well. In some parts of the state, they started today, and school will also be coming back online for students here in Leon County. How are y'all feeling about the back to school situation? What are y'all thinking about that? You thinking? I've been hearing here locally that most folks are gonna, a number of people are gonna do virtual and not send their children back to school to the classroom. So I know this is a tough decision back to school. It really is. I think maybe especially with the younger children, grade school. Yeah, I don't know. You know, the ones that are K through 5. Ah, and while they may be the most resilient of them all, it's scary. It's really scary. All right, I see you, Tiffany. She said overwhelmed, and I know she has some small children. There's a little guy on her profile pic, right? So yeah, it's a scary thought to think about sending them back, and then we are here in Tallahassee, which is a college town, so the college students have made their way back to town, and I've been hearing some not so great stories about, some of the dorms and some of the gatherings that are going on. And that's also a scary thing because, if they're not being responsible, then, it has greater effects not only on campus, but as they venture off campus, to the greater Tallahassee community. So, yeah, please just be responsible. Be responsible as much as you can with this whole pandemic. All right, we got Vanessa Moore on here. Hey, Vanessa. She said, I worry as a parent, but I feel if everyone does their part, we can be okay. My son is going to brick and mortar. Okay. Yeah, I've been seeing on the news that they have, some of these classrooms definitely are doing their part in terms of separating the desk. And I've been hearing them talking about giving the children mask breaks and things of that nature. So it sounds like they're all geared up and ready to serve definitely less students, but the students that are ready and willing to return to the brick and mortar, it sounds like they are, ready to serve them. And I don't know, I haven't seen Leon County, but I've seen some of the surrounding counties. So hopefully all will be well. All right, Latanya said a lot of counties here have started back and has shut down a week later due to a rise in cases. So yeah, that's quite concerning. I have seen that in Georgia as well, Latanya, that there was some schools that were pretty packed and not practicing the social distancing, not requiring mask or adhering to mask rules. So that is huge. All right. Vanessa said, I am going to donate wipes, Lysol, and sanitizer to my son's teacher. That's great. Where can you find Lysol? I have not been able to find it since this whole pandemic started. So look, if you know where we can identify some of that, because I'd be happy to donate that as well, let me know. Because yeah, Lysol and wipes Hadn't seen those in months, literally. I've seen definitely hand sanitizer here locally. Some of the breweries have been making hand sanitizer, so um, that has been readily available. But wipes and Lysol. Okay, wait a minute. Vanessa said Sam's and Publix. Okay. The last couple of times I've been by Sam's and Publix, I have not seen them, but I will definitely put put those two places on the list to go check. So thank you for that. So this again, this is an open forum. This is a little not something that I do all the time, but tonight is ask me anything. Ask me anything. AMA. What you want to know within reason. Within reason. All right. Oh, Vanessa said she saw him in there this morning. Okay, cool. Latanya said wipes at Office Max, Office Depot. Okay, all right. Good to know. Thank y'all for sharing that. Thank you for sharing. All right, so ladies, it's what women want Wednesday. There may be some gentlemen out there. They've been being real quiet tonight, and maybe they aren't, which is fine, except for Gerald. So AMA, ask me anything. All right, Kayla is here. Hey there, how you doing? Kim out of Miami, thanks for tuning in. I appreciate you. All right, ask me anything. I'm open. I'm ready. I'm ready. I'm ready. I'm ready. What you want to know? What you want to talk about? Open discussion. Open discussion. AMA. What else was on my list? So I got a vaccine on my list. So they're working on a COVID vaccine, and I've been just kind of polling people, asking them what they think about it, and whether or not they're gonna get if they're gonna take it. And most of the folks that I've talked to have been like, no, not the first batch. Catch me around the third batch or so. So what y'all think about that? The vaccine. What you think? What you think? All right, while y'all are talking about that, let's see. Vanessa said, what happened that men just don't want to talk on the phone? I don't know. Vanessa, I'm not sure why they don't just want to talk on the phone. It's interesting that you mentioned that because we have had women speak about that on Single in the City, where kings meet queens. They want to uh, text or DM or this sort of thing. So I don't know. I'm gonna have to bring that up. That might be a good question for one of our upcoming shows, Vanessa. So I'm gonna have to present that to the love team and talk about it. Have the men talk about it. All right. So let me see. Vanessa said they will text, but if you call, they won't answer. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure. Is it laziness? It could be laziness, Vanessa. Could be. I don't know. I don't know. Hey there, Mary. I see you. All right. Latanya said, so what do you cook when you are tired of cooking? I'm so over it. Oh goodness, I tell you. That's tough. I mean, for a single person, I mean, I tend to cook some things and just kind of like tonight I did shrimp in my spaghetti sauce. I cut up other stuff in the spaghetti sauce to put in there as well, but that'll probably last me like 3 days. And then some vegetables. Make it easy. Make it simple. You know, I think, but sometimes we get in a rut with cooking, and that can be problematic because it's just like you said, you're over it. So I don't know. Find some fun recipes, some different ways of doing things. Yeah. All right. So you all are chiming in on vaccine. Tanya said, I don't plan on taking the vaccine. All right. Um, Vanessa said, I'm not for the vaccine. I'm gonna wait 5 years. All right, I hear you. So what if they say, if you don't have the vaccine, You can't shop here at Publix or at Sam's. Maybe what if the vaccine is a chip and you gotta, and I'm going real futuristic, I'm going like Star Trek on you. So you gotta, wave your vaccine in front of a scanner or something. And if you don't have the vaccine, you can't come in the store. Just like if you don't have a mask, you can't come in the store. What if the vaccine is that? What y'all gonna do? Vanessa said that's illegal. All right, I hear you. I think I think it might be more realistic than we may realize. I think it might be. Let's see. And Monique said, then I'll be totally online. I heard that. All right. So Vanessa responded on the cooking. She said, maybe find some recipes to enhance your joy of cooking. Yeah, that's a good idea. That's a good idea. So I've gotten a few folks that said no vaccine. What y'all scared of? Y'all had to get vaccinated back in the day, right? In order to go to school. What's the difference? What's the difference? What's the difference? Let me know. Let me hear from you. Why y'all saying no vaccine? You feeling like it might be like the Tuskegee experiment or something? Trying to figure out what it is we are what the effects might be. Man, and I think that's the folks that I've talked to that have said they're gonna wait till like third batch. Um, they're like, we want to see whether people gonna die or get sick or whatever the case may be. So Tanya said we were children. I get it. So what you saying? These more mature bodies, these more seasoned bodies can't handle it. All right. And Monique says systematic racism is the difference. Mm, I got you. I hear you. All right. Vanessa said because it hasn't been tested for long term effects, and I get that as well. Not enough time. And Mo said no more Tuskegee experiments! Exclamation! Exclamation point! I feel you on that for sure. For sure. For sure. All right. So what else? What else y'all want to know? What else y'all want to talk about? Ask me anything. Ask me anything. Let's see. That is actually everything that was on my list to talk about, besides greater works. But um, what about? Oh man! So for those of you who missed Single in the City last night, we had a great time. Hold on. All right. So let me pause. Vanessa said, how are you? I'm fine, Vanessa. I am fine. Thank you for asking. Latanya said, what about sports during the pandemic? Yeah, sports is getting hit big time. Um, yeah, I actually had this conversation today as well with someone because, in doing some of this network work, have discovered that several of the national networks have been hit pretty hard because of sports, and sports is really a big income generator for a number of the networks. And with there being no sports or limited sports, it's hitting them hard financially. So, I don't think we really recognize the impact that sports makes on the American economy in various sectors. So, not only, in the sports arena, but with, media, with medicine, just a number of jobs that are affected by sports not being um, played on a large scale. So, yeah, I don't know what we gonna do with no football season or a very limited football schedule. You know, we have to come up with some other things to do. Can we do a virtual football? I mean, I guess that would be the equivalent of playing some video games or something. But yeah, Corona, COVID is has turned this whole thing out and around. You know, so many industries have been hit hard. You know, I'm hearing about almost every day stores closing. You know, so it's serious. It's serious, and folks are, yeah. As I again converse today with someone, you know, people are having to reinvent themselves or rebrand themselves or come up with a whole new skill set. You know, going back to school or just learning a new trade or something else. So it's serious. It's very very serious. I think I have stated from the onset that I think this is going to be the ushering in of artificial intelligence. You know, not that that wasn't what was happening or getting ready to happen anyway, but it's like it's propelling it. Like it's really making it jump start exponentially. All right. So Tanya said, I really do hope that the professional athletes saved and invested. Yeah, me too. Me too. Me too. 'Cause yeah, it's no telling when things will come back. So, all right, Vanessa said, I have put my time and energy into building my enterprise. Love it. Look, and we all need to be doing that. So, a home-based business, an online business, yeah, everybody needs to be doing something like that for sure. She said it has helped me focus more on my goals. That's great. That's great. That's great. That's great. So, you know, I think for maybe folks who have this is their first time being an entrepreneur or starting a home based business, you know, you definitely got to stay focused. You got to have goals. You got to be committed and consistent with your work. So, you know, I encourage folks to do that because you know the control lies within you, and you know the sky's the limit. You know you're working for yourself, and who better to work for than yourself, right? So with with that, Vanessa, in terms of you putting your time and energy into building your enterprise, you know, I think oftentimes we don't take that time to invest in ourselves, you know, invest in our goals and our dreams and our aspirations. And it does take time. You know, there's research that needs to be done. Maybe we need to talk to some experts or attend some webinars or seminars or that sort of thing. So, you know, just definitely want to encourage you to do that. Not just you, Vanessa, but anybody that's interested in doing that. We've got to, um, you know, put in that time and that effort because it's going to make a difference in our ultimate goal. So we actually talked about that last night on Single in the City. How uh, with as it relates to relationships, you know, people need to do research. You know, they maybe didn't learn a lot from their family on how to interact with men and women, not formally, maybe through observation, but you know, there are books out there. One of the books that was recommended last night was The Male Brain and the Female Brain. So I definitely want to check that one out. But you know, it just talks about our differences and how sometimes we can we may want men to act or think more like a woman, and men may want women to think more like men, but we, you know, function differently, uh, but also can come together, and as opposites tend to attract, or you know, we gel together like that. So um, so I was talking to somebody and they said that the thing that we love about men is the same thing that we hate about men. And I would venture to say that it's the same way for men as well. So, but we, as long as we kind of understand our energies and how we function, or at least try to attempt to, right? Then I think we can get along together. So, all right, Vanessa said, seek your purpose from within. Absolutely, absolutely. So, knowledge of self, that's something that I tend to preach a whole lot about, the importance of knowing who you are and, the things about yourself that maybe aren't serving you well, doing away with that and picking up some better habits, right? Picking up some better habits. All right, Vanessa said, for me, I didn't have enough confidence in myself and I kept discouraging myself. I woke up one day and decided no more excuses, that I was going to push forward even if I failed. It would never be because I didn't try. Love it. So, one of the things that was said last night um, was that you really don't fail, right? Is you either win or you learn, because what we may call a failure really is an opportunity to learn. So I think if we look at it from that standpoint, then it won't be so devastating for us, right? Because now the thing that maybe we missed the mark on, we've learned from that experience and we'll know next time not to do it or do it a different way. So I think we should look at it from that perspective. Latanya said, in Bible study, we discussed singleness. Specifically, before you start looking for a relationship, you must first know and love yourself. A lot of folks settle because they don't. This may be a single in the city topic. Yeah, we actually talk about that a whole lot, Latanya. The importance of knowing yourself. And actually, it was, again, part of our discussion last night about finding yourself. Actually, Elam King, who was our guest speaker, our guest author, who wrote the book Understanding a Man, he said, find yourself and then you can be found. Find yourself and then you can be found. So it's super duper important that you know who you are, know what you like, know what you don't like, and go from there. I think, as again was stated last night, once you do, there's an attraction that goes along with that. I think you will attract, that which you, um, that which is compatible to what you who you are. So take that time, know who you are. I mean, some people think that they know who they are, but I think a lot of times folks are in denial. So, I'm talking about digging deep, peeling back the layers, and really getting an understanding of who you are and why you do what you do. You know, there's something out there called adverse childhood experiences, and there's actually a 10-question test as relates to that. you know, I encourage folks to take the ACEs test and really kind of look at some of your childhood experiences and recognize how they probably are informing some of your adult experiences or adult decisions. So, you know, again, dive deep, do the work, deal with some of the things that, you may have, some of your encounters that were hurtful or traumatic, and heal. So definitely want to encourage folks to do that. All right, Latanya said, Vanessa, we talked about confidence in self in Bible study. All right. Vanessa said, I'm single because I won't settle. And Latanya agreed, same here. I think Monique agreed too. So cool. So, yeah, one of the other things that we talked about last night too was Ela mentioned the 5 love languages, and that it's important to do an annual checkup, and that our love languages will change, from time to time, just depending on where we are in life. If you're not familiar with the five love languages, it's a book by Gary Chapman, and it basically is speaking to these types of ways to interact with a person that is most effective to them. It's an effective way to communicate with them. So they include acts of service, gifts, quality time, uh, words of affirmation, and physical touch. So those are the five love languages. And while you may possess more than one, you typically have a propensity to be drawn to one more than the other, or one or two more than all five. If you're a gifts person, you may not necessarily be a physical touch person, or you may not be a words of affirmation or acts of service person. But it can also shift depending on, again, where you are in life. So again, there's a test, an assessment, if you will, that goes along with this to determine kind of where you are at the time that you take this particular test. So we encourage you all to take that assessment on the five love languages and give it to other people that are in your life that you are, engaged with, that you communicate with on some type of regular basis, so that you will, kind of understand where they are coming from, if they're even willing to do something like that. It's kind of cool. It's kind of fun. All right, I see you, Mr. Ben, on here. He got all these eyeballs. Yes, I'm talking about the love languages, and it does not necessarily speak to love relationships from the standpoint of um, intimate personal relationships. I think actually this can also be applied across the board for any type of relationship. So, I know it might be weird if you're in a business setting to do something like that, but you'd be surprised how, when you speak somebody's language, how effective that might be. um, if they're a gifts person and you give them a gift, they may open right up and be definitely more responsive to you. If they're a words of affirmation person, if you give them the words that they like to hear, that again may be the difference in them. So yeah, just something to consider. Something to consider. All right. All right. So again, this is Ask Me Anything. I'm gonna throw it out there one more time and then I'm gonna wrap it on up, because I don't want to keep you long. I know y'all want to get back to that Democratic National Convention on the TV there. So AMA, my last call to ask me anything. Ask me anything. For those of you who may be just tuning in, this is What Women Want Wednesday. No guest tonight, just me, real talk with Nicole. Ask me anything. We've talked about relationships a little bit, but also the election, the DNC, back to school, the COVID vaccine. So, and Greater Works Network. Yes. I see you, Javon. How you doing, my sister out of Atlanta? Thank you for tuning in. So, all right, AMA, last call, last call. Ask me anything. What's on your mind? What you want to talk about? Vanessa says she is focused on starting her enterprise. She put her time and energy into building her enterprise. I love it. Tanya was asking about cooking. What are we doing? Anybody over it? All right, Javon wants to know, are you getting your rest? Hey, 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 hey. I'm both a night owl and an early bird, so not really, not for real, but I'm working on it. A little bit, a little bit, a little bit. So I'm working on it. That's my answer, and I'm sticking with it. All right, Vanessa said, should we as a community get back to encouraging adoption in the Black family? Hmm. Yeah, that's a good question. I think to the extent that, you can do it, then yeah. Absolutely. Um, I don't know what the adoption situation is like, children being a in foster care or what have you, or in the system, what those numbers are looking like. But yeah, I think that that's a great idea. Again, to the extent that you can handle it. And I know that may sound a little, you know, elitist in some regards because, a lot of times, especially in the Black communities, sometimes adoption is a kind of a by force rather than by choice situation, because um, maybe the biological parent or parents aren't available for whatever reason. So, maybe the grandparents may take on the responsibility of guardianship, or a relative or whatnot. We see a lot of examples of that within our community. But I don't know about in terms of adopting unrelated children. We don't see that as much. Although my friend Talithia Edwards, who I'm giving a shout out to right now, she has two um, babies. One is less than a year, and the other one is whew, the other one is about a year and a half. So yeah, these are children she's not related to, but they have been basically dropped off on her doorstep, and she is seeking to adopt them. So, all right, Vanessa said back in the 80s, that's what Black churches were encouraging. One church, one child was huge in the 80s and 90s. And actually, one church, one child still exists, if I'm not mistaken. So, yeah, again, I think it's a great idea. So, perhaps I should have them on the show so that they can talk to us more about that. Hmm. Yeah, that would be cool. All right, I'm putting it on my list of things to research and see if we can have a conversation about that. So, thank you for sharing that suggestion. One church, one child. Cool. All right, good people. I think we are well, at least I am. I am yeah, getting a little tired. So, oh Lord, Vanessa wants to talk entanglements. Okay, what you want to say? What you want to say about entanglements? Javon said yes. Good night. Um. All right, Vanessa. Let's save that for Single in the City. Okay, we actually did entanglements on Single in the City about 2 weeks, 3 weeks ago, but we can bring it back up. Let's save it for there. All right, Latanya says she has Ari Seller's number. So yeah, Latanya, just get with me later, and I can get her information from you. All right, so I'm gonna wrap it up again. Thank you. This was something that I don't normally do, but every now and again you got to just keep it real, right? And open it up for open dialogue. I love open discussions. So um, at any rate, I'll be back on Monday, God willing. So you all have a great rest of the week. Again, be sure to go to Greater Works. Let me see if I can pull it up again real quick. GreaterWorks.network. If you have ideas for a show, for a film, a documentary, for video content that you may want to host or be distributed on the Greater Works Network, which is currently on Roku. Again, subscribe to the Conversations with Nicole YouTube channel and check us out, Greater Works Network on Roku. All right. All right. I think that's all my announcements. Yes. Have a good night. Y'all too. And I'll see y'all next week. Thank y'all. Peace.